President Biden has a positive story to tell about the American economy. And starting today, the cabinet and senior White House officials will travel across the country to share the Biden administration's work they say is lowering costs for Americans. It is what they describe as a full court press for the next 10 days on housing, health care, utility bills, and groceries, as objectively good metrics continue to be overshadowed by persistent bad vibes. A recent Gallup poll found that just 38% of Americans expressed confidence in Biden to, quote, do the right thing for the economy. That's among the worst economic approval marks that any modern president has suffered in Gallup's polling. By contrast, 46% of voters have confidence in former President Donald Trump's economic management, despite tax cuts that never delivered the growth that was promised, budget deficits that surged, and tariffs and trade deals that did not bring back lost factory jobs. Joining us now, Director of the National Economic Council, Lael Brainard. I'm so interested, Lael, in having you, number one, but number two, that the administration, and you're going to be talking about housing, and you're going to be talking about health care, and you're going to be talking about grocery store prices, because those are the things, along with child care, that are, I think, angering people the most.
Absolutely. Look, the pandemic was tough on American households. There's no question those price surges. And then, of course, Russia's invasion led to price surges on food and gas prices at the pump. And Americans are just feeling squeezed by the cost of living. So the president has taken a number of actions, and he's going to keep fighting on behalf of working Americans to get those prices down. On the other side, we hear a lot from congressional Republicans. They like to really shine a light on inflation, but they haven't offered a single proposal.
Let me ask about housing first. How do you tackle the issue of housing? It is so expensive to buy a house. There are so many people who have such high interest rates right now that there are even older people who are living in houses that are now too big for them. They're not moving because they don't want to trade up for a much higher interest rate if they were going to buy a second home. And so people are being forced into too small homes and not being able to upgrade. And then those starter homes are impossible for the starting out families. It is a vicious cycle. How do you tackle that quickly enough to make it count for November?
Look, the president wants to enable people to buy their first homes. He proposed a $10,000 tax credit over the next 2 years to ensure that first-time homebuyers can afford a new home, and to enable people who have starter homes that want to upsize or downsize to put them on the market, sell them. So that's how we would get the housing market moving. He also wants to bring rents down, and he's had a rule that essentially on low-income housing tax credit units will cap rent increases. So he's pushing really hard.
So these are proposals, though. They've got to go to Congress.
So on the capping of rent increases for units that are financed with federal dollars, that's something that's going into effect as we speak. The homeowners tax credit, the tax credit to get people to put their starter homes on the market, that is something that we would love for congressional Republicans to join us on. They won't even move the tax credits on the Senate side that were passed with bipartisan support on the House side.
What about child care? I mean, I can tell you, child care is insanely expensive. There are a lot of families out there who are paying much more than they can afford on child care, especially for the youngest kids, but that aren't eligible yet for daycare or a threes program through a public school. How does the administration address the cost of having children?
Cost of having children is a huge issue for parents, keeping some parents out of the workforce. So we've got some really great programs. We saw they worked. The child tax credit put money back in the pockets of Americans. Also, for low-income Americans, they currently have a cap on their child care costs of about $10 a day. The president wants to make that available for more people. The Republicans are just blocking every action he wants to take.
Why isn't childcare? Why aren't daycares subsidized in this country? In other countries, they're subsidized no matter how much you make. You pay $50 max or $100 max to put your kids in a childcare or in daycare if you live in a European country. Why is it so hard here?
Absolutely. Canada has a great policy that's very similar to the one that President Biden put in place for low-income families, which will cap your weekly child care costs as a share of your income, make it affordable. And we want that to be available to all working parents. Again, congressional Republicans have a very different vision. They want to tax middle-income households by putting an enormous tariff on them, which will cost them thousands of dollars a year in order to make room for tax cuts for the wealthy.
Is there any executive action that he can take to mitigate this quickly, or is this something that has to be squarely in the hands of Congress?
So on child care, we have a proposal that is sitting with Congress to fund child care centers, which is an extension of what the president did during the pandemic. It's being blocked. So we really do need partners across the aisle. This is a bipartisan issue. Parents across the country can attest to how important it is. And again, congressional Republicans should stop calling attention to inflation and join us in solving the problem.
What about grocery store prices?
Yeah.
They're persistently high. Inflation's coming down, but, going and buying a dozen eggs feels a lot worse today than it did 3 years ago, 4 years ago. What can the administration do regarding grocery store prices?
So this is a major focus for so many American families. Grocery store prices are the things that people see every week. And so when the price of eggs goes up, people are highly aware of it. It affects their budgets. The president has been pushing really hard, worked to solve the supply chain issues, worked to solve the issues that arose as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which froze grain shipments. Commodity prices have come all the way down. Supply chains are fixed. Supply chain prices have come down, but grocery stores have been slow to pass on the savings. So the president has been calling on grocery stores to give consumers a break. And we're finally seeing some of the major grocery stores cutting prices on thousands of items. Food prices were actually flat or down over the last few months. The president's going to keep pushing on that. But again, congressional Republicans, they want to tax groceries by putting a tariff on all the food imports that we purchase. That means bananas. It means chocolate and coffee. So they want to actually increase food prices for American consumers.
Lael Brainard, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.